Our newest legendary hero. Did you see this coming? There's no way. I don't believe you.
Okay.
I literally predicted it with my friends today.
I
You
originally
don't have friends. That's already a lie.
Wow.
Okay. Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah, well,
go ahead,
look in the
Legion.
mirror, but okay.
Literally,
I said it. I said it either be Deirdre
you
or
consider
Myrrh.
yourself a friend?
I said look in the mirror. I didn't say. I said. I didn't say.
Oh, so you look into the mirror and say, "I am your friend."
I'm asking you to look into the mirror, my friend.
That's not how it works. That's not how the saying works.
Huh.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Okay, that's depressing.
I originally
go
thought
ahead.
it was going to be Corrin because I saw one red. I'm like, oh, obviously 2 reds means red. No, that's not how legendaries work. Once I realized people predicted blue, my first thought went straight to Myrrh, and that's where I stuck.
You thought blue and then you thought Myrrh? How?
We have red, green, and colorless Myrrh. And also legendary Fae was not too long ago.
Yeah, and then we also have, say, like legendary Tiki, and then harmonic Tiki, and then Tiki is also colorless. Like, she's not a green. I don't know. That's kind of weird to me to guess it that way.
There's a giant block of the
young
silhouette.
Tiki.
They're not the silhouette. Her arena bonus was like giant, and
Also
some people were like thinking maybe there'd be big wings.
Yeah,
And
also that.
It was a wind legendary, and Myrrh's affinity is wind.
Never
so.
thought about that part.
Yeah, I didn't think about that, but yeah, anytime it's blue, I'm gonna think it's Deirdre, and then I also thought it was Myrrh this time.
Yeah,
that's weird. You actually thought it was Myrrh. Wow.
Mainly Deirdre, but
I was pretty convinced it was Myrrh because the others didn't seem that likely to me. Although, well, a couple seemed like it. Like Deirdre seemed possible. I didn't think Xander was going to be possible at all.
Yeah, I don't know.
Look, that ship has sailed years ago. Don't worry about it.
I don't think Xander is guaranteed to never happen. I just don't think that I'll believe it.
I just think he's gonna be blue.
I don't think we'll ever say never is never. But yeah, I definitely don't think he's blue.
No.
Yeah.
All right. So, apparently these guys thought Myrrh was a thing. Let's move on to the next part then. How much do you value Myrrh? Right before we start going over the kit.
I don't compare to Legendary Nana, Legendary Fae, and Legendary Claude for the Legendary units I'd want to go for.
I would personally say Myrrh over Fae. I might have some anti-bias to Fae, but Myrrh as a defense unit is more useful.
Okay, I do agree.
I would agree.
I do agree that Myrrh has a easier offensive because she can, when she initiates combat, should be able to auto double, and that therefore she isn't a free pass. Like against Fae, who cares? If you don't attack Fae, who cares?
Yeah. In arena is a complete joke.
Fae also has the forced choice of damage reduction or auto follow up, which whatever, but still.
But I value Fae still.
I think
I value her as a scoring unit. I don't value Fae as a unit in general.
I like her in PvE a lot, and I do value what she brings to the table, but I do think she's one of, at least in my opinion, one of the worst legendary heroes of recent time.
I would agree. I think that Fae doesn't bring enough to the table in terms of, sure, she brings the tanking side to the table, but if you can't kill and you don't have anything that's really unique in your...
It also doesn't help that your entire gimmick is stopped by pulsing down that special with pulse high, pulse smoke, or anything like that. Or just
that too. Fae has a sort of guaranteed miracle, but if she's just going to get auto doubled anyway, and people can break through that without her defensive profile being anything like too unique, I don't know. It doesn't sell me.
She's still relatively fast for an infantry dragon anyway, so...
Alright. Look, it doesn't really matter. Fae for me will always just be fodder. That's what I look at her as.
Yeah.
She's amazing fodder.
Already did that once.
As you already know, I don't care about what fodder you have if I want to build you.
Yeah, because you're Evan, and you could build Gunter and insist he's good. So...
Well, fortunately, you're not missing much in fodder. Armored blow 3, God forbid.
All right. With that said, let's go over Myrrh because, man, this feels like a hero that they should have released anywhere from 3 months ago, at least, to 1 to 2 years earlier. That's what
they could have just replaced Fae with her, I guess.
If they hadn't done Harmonized Myrrh last year, I think they could have done her last year.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
the gimmick buff warp bubble is probably the only thing that kind of dates her to recently, because that's not something that was around before.
Okay, how about, can we agree this is the best Myrrh?
No.
Well, actually, people might not agree.
I think she's the best for duels, but overall, I think Halloween Myrrh's the best.
Yeah, I thought about it for a moment. Halloween Myrrh with the hardy fighter setups is actually very deadly.
Hardy Escutcheon near save Myrrh is a deadly unit. And even without Hardy, she's still an amazing savior because that follow-up reduction, which bypasses the worries of Wary Fighter.
And
really good savior.
Right, and much like this Myrrh, that one's also capable of being a dual phaser. Armor dual phasing feels weird until you get caught off guard and they actually attack you. And then you realize, wait a second, that's not free.
In an Ether Raid's defense setting, having a savior that can also be the offensive threat is not good.
I know if someone already said this, but with Def/Re's Unity.
Yeah, but
well, you also just kind of sack speed potential with that too. So
well, Fallen Ike, people forget his damage output's actually not great. It's all about that ether.
Yeah, taking back the memes for a second on Fallen Ike here, Legendary Myrrh literally does everything he wants to, except for disencounter, but better. So
yep, pretty much.
All right. So
and Fallen Ike's damage output as well, obviously, without debuffs, is like incredibly hindered.
Yeah.
I don't know what I was trying to say there. Hindered.
As far as the context of Myrrhs go, yeah, I kind of agree with that order. Halloween is definitely best, but Legendary is probably second. Spring third, just because it's worse. Period. And base last, but all Myrrhs are at least useful.
Are actually very good.
Yeah, base Myrrh is still pretty solid.
Yes. Okay. But going into this, is she really good fodder? Defense, Res Unity, Dragon Wall?
Yeah,
that's quite solid. Yeah,
it's fine. But I wouldn't fodder her probably. I don't think.
I'd wait until Defense Res Unity gets added to another unit.
Definitely on 3.
I think that's on Winter Jafar for pre-fodder.
Yes.
Okay, so that's not bad. That's not bad. Good.
Yeah, the pre-fodder's out there. And I swear that's gonna become a normal skill at some, like a normal 3-4 star skill at some point. But yeah, you take Def Res Bond 3 and then DR Unity Dragon Wall, and you can literally just make any tanky dragon you want, which is just dragons in general, so that's actually not bad.
So good value.
I'd say that, but I'd say for Defense Res Unity itself, if you just want that, you should probably wait, because it's gonna be on some other unit that you can probably get
if you're not building
a better second skill on. Like there could be another unit that drops with like Def Res Unity and I don't know, like.
I'll just be honest, I don't think she's S tier fodder, because I think she's A tier, depending on how much you value Dragon Wall and Defense Res Unity. But those aren't like must-have skills.
I don't even think she'd want Def Res Unity person. I feel like she'd want Bracing Stance 3, because like Guard will be a very helpful factor for her against stuff like Deadeye.
Depending on her role.
You're right about that.
The problem with archers is Bram doesn't care if you have cooldown prevention. He'll just Deadeye you.
Right. If an archer has an instant special, then it's not going to matter anyway.
Okay, so you brought up why I think she's so flawed. She wants to be essentially a dual phaser to have extra value over Faye, because if you're talking just defensively, then Faye's more better. But with the whole entire package, because she can auto double, she wants something else. Defense Res Unity isn't bad, but if she's not, well, I guess we'll see the stats. I don't think she's gonna hit lightly, definitely not. But I do think, especially because Bonfire's 2 cooldowns, but I don't think switching to a stance is necessarily good. But at the same time, you're right about that. You kind of want guard.
You want guard, but I don't know. I mean, it really does depend. I personally just don't think her range tanking potential is going to be that amazing. Not just because of archers, but just range.
I think they're just trying to slaughter as a tanky unit that can run some player phase if you need her to. She's basically just meant to do a lot of damage regardless and tank well. It's sort of like a hybrid unit, you could say. But
yeah, it's definitely a hybrid unit. It wants to be melee focused. Of course, with any tank, the first thing is, can they tank at ranged? The answer is usually yes with an asterisk, but the meta is at such a point where that asterisk is very emphasized.
Yes.
It's like, if we're just talking in the context of arena, you see a duo Dagr and you balk the sight of that because you literally just lost from deployment. If Myrrh goes into a Dagr, let's be honest.
Right. So that's the other thing I wanted to talk about, because they clearly thought about how she was going to be utilized and realized if this is all she is, defense, residue, drawing a wall, and godly breath, which by the way, godly breath is actually pretty good. Slaying, all stats -5, 30% damage reduction, and then guarantee follow-up on initiation within 2 space an ally.
I would say it's a lot better than phase weapon, honestly.
It's everything you want on a tank, realistically.
Right.
Obviously no guard, still.
But she's a flyer, she's not a saber unit, and so it's all about Darkling Guardian. At start of turn, if you just within 2 space an ally, defense res +6, Bo cannot make a fall attack, and then warp bubble so they can't teleport around. So that's basically... I right now, I do not really value flying dragon tanks, even though this one's more of a dual phaser. So it's all about how much you value warp bubble, that ability.
I do think that flying units in arena in particular, where legendaries are slotted to be, are really, really useful. And I
mobility
think
is fantastic.
Yeah, I think that especially with the newer maps that value flyers so much, I think that she could be a lot more useful on the map itself than something like that.
Not to mention the fact that you could hypothetically slot out D-Wall for a Kanto skill. Which,
if you do that, why don't you just run Sheeta or Nana?
You're getting the warp bubble out of it, you're getting the bulk out of it. Still got 30% damage reduction, which Sheeta doesn't even bring to the table. So that's not too bad.
And she does, at the very least, I wanted to mention that she cuts down, to some extent, legendary female Byleth in the same season. So.
Oh yeah, legendary female Byleth's warping shenanigans would hypothetically be shut down. But again, that is true.
Until she shoots you.
well, part of the big thing about legendary female Byleth is that her warping is part of what makes her so annoying. If you can actually, it makes her harder to get to safely.
Actually,
if you shut down
listen, it's still within 4 spaces of the unit, and of course Byleth just has to shoot Myrrh, and then Myrrh will explode.
Well, she has to actually find a way to get in those 4 spaces. If she's too far away, she won't even have the opportunity to fire.
All right, but I don't even know. That's a weird character to think about. I guess I saw a couple of them. I mean,
legendary interactions.
That's what I think about when it's a legendary with warping. That's the one win legendary was warping.
It's one of the only legendaries with warping in general.
True.
I barely even see legendary female Byleth.
I see her semi-frequently.
I have no idea what you guys are talking about at this point. When you guys say this unit is common, and I've seen them like all 1 or 2 times.
Well, because your experiences aren't necessarily reflective of everyone's, as we all know. It's
Yeah, I know, but you're saying super common or common.
We're talking common Byleth and it's male. Legendary female Byleth.
Yeah, I see male Byleth pretty common.
I do see male Byleth.
I do not really see.
Because, all right, how about we stabilize and so contextualize what common means to you guys, because that's the part that really gets to me. People are saying if I see a hero 1 in 5 battles, that's common to them. That's not common to me. That's like
I can describe.
Dakota, if you have the raid, yeah.
I can describe. So for me, when I say Harmonized Sonya is common in duels, I mean I see her like at least once every 3 matches, basically, at least.
Okay, I agree with that being common.
And then for something like legendary male Byleth, he would be like once every like maybe 8 or 8 to 10 matches maybe. And legendary female Byleth, I just don't see really at all. Like
I wasn't talking in a summer duels.
Yeah, I'm using it as like a relative context for it, because that's like the most like easy way to like I guess to say like what's common and what's not. So then yeah, legendary female Byleth, I haven't really seen her at all since her bonus season.
Well, I mean, honestly, this should only be talked in terms of summoner duels or ether raids, because that's where we see other players heroes the most often. And then if it's within what people do themselves or deploy themselves, that's different for everybody. People could deploy, for example, Gunter commonly. So Evan could probably say you, right, but that makes no sense to anybody else because, you know.
Well, yeah.
That's why it's important to contextualize things. But anyways, the most common unit I see in summer duels, and I think most people can agree, is Vector. And that's something like 1 in It's almost like one match, basically. It's almost every match that you see him in.
Actually,
yeah, he's
like,
common. I
don't know if I would put him at the 1-to-1. I think if anything, it's more like Yuri.
Yuri is extremely common.
Like,
Dual Corn is also up there for me. I see her.
If you put that list on, those two are definitely among the top of it. Yuri is very common as well, but even then, that's not. I guess it depends.
It depends. Last week, on the situation.
Last week we had SDS, which case then I saw Hector every single time.
Oh yeah, if you have the option to run 4 brigades, most likely Vector is just going to be slapped in there for scare factor at least.
And it depends a little bit on what skills are available that week as well.
Yeah, but yeah, Vector is definitely one of those kinds of units. Byleth's one of those. Male Byleth is not. Female Byleth is certainly not. In the context of summoner duels.
Yes, and strictly in summoner duels. And, well, to be fair, I should amend my statement a little bit. I don't see female Byleth that commonly in arena, but I do see her more often than I thought I would.
Yeah. I mean, maybe I'm just blanking.
Thanks, Makoto. Sorry, we're going over the new banner, so it's really hard to like interrupt everybody to say these things. But thank you so much for the raid. I hope you guys had a great stream.
But,
all right.
Yeah.
No, fair enough.
Thornier, thank you for 100 bits. All right. Anyways, it's okay. So the reason why this was brought up is because Warping Heroes, people have brought it up. Ash is a frequent one that you see.
Yep. Okay.
Frequent does not mean common, to be clear, but
I frequently see Ash.
I'd almost say Ash borders on common. If not actually is common, especially in SDS.
Sure.
I don't see her as often, but she's definitely not rare.
Okay. But people have been telling me they see Sprained Sonya just as commonly, which is insane to me because
That's a lie. Sonya's
never
common.
That commonly. I see her
Sonya is one of the most common summoner duels units, but is not like the top. Not even close.
Okay, so that's what I wanted to bring up because I saw her like twice thus far. And it's not like I haven't played these modes.
More than that for sure, but I haven't I don't see, she's not ubiquitous. Like you see her a decent amount.
Right, because you got to keep in mind we've only had one chance at her, and while people valued her, absolutely not. That doesn't mean much.
The spark
right
helps,
now,
but it's not everyone has her. So
right. Okay, so in terms of common teleportation units, I think that's her top 3: Ash, Sonya, Byleth.
Yeah, Byleth being
in terms of common, that's not a little over
Byleth by far.
Okay,
has to be put in there somewhere.
Oh yeah. I would say about Legendary female Byleth is a lot less common than.
I know that
Capture is kind of weird, but yeah, I guess
She is weird and doesn't always work there, but she is still common.
Sure. Okay.
She's more common than female Byleth for sure.
I mean, I don't really think of Catra as a teleport unit. I think of her as a teleport giver. You know what I mean?
Yes, but then
and that indirectly
she's stopping the entire team's warps, which is arguably more valuable.
Sure, that's not exactly the same criteria, but I guess that's fair.
Yeah.
In that case, it's whatever that entire team is warping, so it's not the unit itself warping; it's the entire team that's warping.
Yeah.
But if you take it as a whole, sort of as a bubble, if you will, Myrrh is gonna be useful sometimes for that warp bubble in summoner duels, probably more than, I don't know. It's hard to put into perspective, but I think that
if you have Canto Control support, absolutely it will be.
That's actually pretty interesting mentioning that. If you run a Beast Dragon team, Medius, Myrrh, and maybe have Fallen Edelgard, or Fallen Rhea, they're both really good. And then Ninian, well. That's actually a really sick team, but it lacks this any kind of range pressure, and that could be problematic as well.
It does. I mean, of course, you can always just slot one in, but
yeah, you can slot a Yuri.
Yeah, and the big thing that has to be stated: Myrrh provides the anti-warp control while being a full-on productive unit in both phases. If we are talking in general, though, it has to be stated: Gatekeeper is the better anti-warp unit by a country mile.
I don't know if you heard Nims earlier in the stream. He was like completely dissing Gatekeepers.
Listen, I don't. If you tell me right now you see Gatekeeper commonly, I'm calling you out. That's not a thing.
Oh no, not common. No. He's pretty rare.
He's not common because nobody has a brain.
He's not common because
of course, Evan, you're the only one with a brain. Yeah.
It's not common because everybody sparked or free-picked either Brave Erica, Legendary Brave Marth, or even some cases Marianne.
Okay, listen, the problem with Gatekeeper is because he has no offensive pressure, and it's just purely defensive unit in a game with Savior units. Why would you run him? And
with the Savior.
Even if we are scared of Wings of Mercy and teleportation...
Well, support is nice. People often undervalue. He gives attack speed +5 basically to everybody. So.
Yeah. It's also the fact that he can run that in tandem with Canto Control. I think gives him that unique new edge. It's a new tech that is not explored.
Well,
Hmm?
It's the reason why I'm already like discounting Myrrh is because she's not the best fighter offensively, and that problem is exasperated by the fact that, well, she's 2 movement, she's a flyer,
right?
So how are you going to get her into combat, and then how are you gonna get her in combat without her dying? Not to say she's going to die automatically. Dragon Wall, Godly Breath, double damage reduction, she's going to be fine. She's going to take the hit. But that's not to say she's invincible and people can, in fact, just kill her. So how do you get her in range and attack something? And then without Kanto, she's stuck in combat. And without DC, if they want to just pepper her at range, she's going to die eventually. So it's just like... But Gatekeeper's even worse. Now, while he is range, he's not doubling, so he's not going to kill. Most likely.
100% support. The team has to be working for him. He cannot be, like... He is not a team unit, he is a team player.
Right.
He is pure support. Myrrh, you could use Myrrh as a frontliner. She can provide some pressure in engaging in combat. She can be a good unit to do a swatch, some melee attackers. But Gatekeeper can't do any of that. Yeah, he can tank.
That's why I would take Myrrh over Gatekeeper, because she's harder to kill and she's better at dual phasing. You give up obstruct and you don't support as well, but a purely supportive unit is really hard to run. It's like, it's the same reason why I don't see someone run George or something, right? Like that's a purely support, well nowadays, purely supportive unit. Whoa, my God, you actually saw someone run George.
Here's slang. We see one person that runs George all the time.
Okay.
Oh yes, I know that.
Yeah, I wonder who it is.
Well, Diggle and Snack.
Yeah.
Okay, listen, outside of those small group of crazy people, you want heroes that have value all around nowadays. Think of, I always use George.
You have picked the wrong unit to poke at.
I have thought about it a bit. Myrrh at least has a better player face
yes, that's what we said.
So she may actually have some
Ether
support
Raid's defense
in
team, yeah, okay.
An ambush
Fair.
team comp with her and a couple
I think that if we're talking in the
legit
context
and
of
fun.
Ether Raids, I think that pure support units in offense are valuable, and in that context, Gatekeeper's league's better. In defense, I will agree though, unless you're running Catria Ball, Gatekeeper probably provides less value because he's a non-threat.
Yeah.
That said, in the context of summoner duels, yeah, I agree that Myrrh is a all-around more comfortable unit to use and definitely a unit that can't be overlooked. But depending on the strength of the comp, I do sometimes truly value the Gatekeeper. Mostly from the fact that he can run both Warp Bubble, quote-unquote, and Canto Control, consolidating unit.
That's fair, that's fair.
Yeah, it's mostly that. But I will say, if you want a scuffed version of that still provides 2 great units, then you could just run Medius plus Myrrh. Nothing wrong with that. Yeah, it's 2 dragons, but 2 really good dragons. And they...
You know, it's not necessarily bad to run a comp like that. People don't remember this, but if your opponent can't kill your heroes, you're gonna win.
Yeah.
I've experienced that with Brave Marth, where they can't kill him, and that's it. It's game over. You just lost.
People underestimate how tanky Medius is, for example. That's
Medius is as well.
It's stupid.
Yeah, when his bonus season recently, people were really having some fun with him.
Okay. So, I'll just quickly say... Yeah.
Myrrh has roughly the same amount of damage reduction. Think about it that way. They both have
she does.
And
30 and then 40.
Stupid tanky.
Yeah, and then that min-maxing is likely to be high defense, high res. Extremely high defense, high res.
and it's surprisingly decent speed stat as opposed to Piece.
How do we know how much speed Myrrh will have?
No,
no way. You can't calculate.
Well, I mean, I guess that's true. I just want to know if there's any.
I think she might be able to reach 30 with her breath, but that's about how I see it.
Yeah, just enough to prevent, like, for example, Rhea's Wary, as an example on Edelgards. Something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, I know she'll have
total
enough for that.
Yeah.
50 versus 60%. Yeah, it's very similar.
Splitting hairs.
Essentially the same. Okay, but I think the final thing I wanted to say about her is still I value Medeus more, especially because he's so good in Ether 8's defense. He's like, he completes teams because of how absurd he is. And then in summer duels, people cannot chill out on him because he's gonna wreck you. I've seen Medeus ran with Eliwood, and that was so frustrating. Because it's like, oh, you got your healer and you got the extra damage reduction. Now you lose.
Oh, yeah. Not just the healer, but the healing, the fact that it provides him that 20% damage reduction he just needs. Like,
right.
It's a stupid combo. It's a stupid combo. And for the record, Myrrh can do almost all of that. The only thing is, you can use archers, and there are meta enough archers to cause problems. And Myrrh is blue, not colorless, so there are matchups that are inherently worse for Myrrh.
Right.
Even if they both provide at the same level of damage reduction and equally reliable follow-up manipulation.
Okay. But yeah, the last thing I want to ask is, like, in terms of the most recent 3 Great Dragons release, I think they are just the 3 dragon. It depends on how you value, like, look at Ninian, but, like, in terms of the dragons released recently, I think Rhea and both Medeus and Rhea have Myrrh's number. I value both of them more.
Yeah, part of it is saviors just are in an inherently better place. I cannot.
That's why I'm thinking, like, why didn't they release her earlier, prior to, like, Savior's dominance? I think people would have absolutely valued her.
Yeah, yeah. I guess part of it is the amount of characters that they wanted to go through that were more popular than Myrrh during that time, because that was still when we were getting things like Micaiah, Dimitri, Sigurd, things like that. Character-wise, unit-wise, yeah, this is definitely, obviously, minus the warp bubble, more in line with, like, pre-Savior or early Savior meta.
She should have been flying armor. That would have been an interesting concept.
Well, Shamil's prediction was to make her a brave unit with flying savior. So yeah, which was
makes a lot of sense.
Brave part
you know, if they did that, I'd be excited about her.
It was a kind of an out there prediction, but it would have been. I mean, it would have been unique for sure.
Here's the only thing: dual saves on one unit is dangerous because you're literally putting all the pressure on that unit. So if you just die to like 2 units of different ranges, your team has nothing, and you can only run that savior because if you run, for example, Myrrh plus a far save in that hypothetical case.
Yeah, you're gonna overlap, and you're fucked.
You have no far save actually, and then just near save. So that's bad.
I think Omni save is honestly a pipe dream.
It's not good. It's not even good. It's not even a pipe dream. It's just bad.
All right. Anyways, let's conclude this by going over the rest of the banner. And I think I'm gonna say I think blue's the best, just because that's just 3 legendary heroes. If you're looking to plus in a legendary hero, this is probably your banner. Cheetah is the highest scorer right now, and you got 2 win options, so that's not bad at all.
Yeah, the actual units are probably some of the more like upper mid legendaries. Depending on who you ask, some people hate Cheetah, and some people really hate, and some people hate Byleth. So for some people, that blue color sucks as legendary, like all legendary colors.
Yeah, it depends on people, but for scoring reasons. And even fodder reasons, it's actually quite good.
It's a good color. They're 3 of the most recent legendary heroes. It's a good color. I cannot argue. And in the context of all the others, they're the best. Probably.
Okay, but then what's next? Because I think it's
definitely
colorless.
Colorless.
Yeah,
for sure.
Joshua and I mean I haven't seen a lot of Joshuas, but I know enough to be scared. Yep.
Yeah.
He is a pretty scary unit. You get the fluoride out of it, which is pretty good value for some of that.
I would still argue in a Catria ball that Volk is better, But in the context of a unit, Joshua's fire sweep effect is very nice, and you can kind of play around with him to either give him more damage or fire sweep, which is a fun concept.
Really, he's just a cool unit.
I'd argue in a Catria ball that Winter Mirror Byleth is better than Joshua.
Yeah, well, your opinion is completely irrelevant, so...
She couldn't even kill my Vector, shush.
No, Brave Hector runs Deflect Missile on AR offense.
I don't run Deflect Missile either. That said, Claude is definitely, without a doubt, one of the best legendaries, period.
Yeah, he's aged incredibly well. I'm kind of amazed. I guess we thought he was going to age well when we first got him, but still.
Wait, how high does he score again?
195 or what? 190? Yeah, 190
before the bump in BST, but he still scores because of Fallen Star.
Right.
So second highest
so still excellent.
And
I may try to try to get some merges on him to plus 10.
Actually, that's what I'm thinking about. Maybe that's my plus 10 hero that I should be making, Claude, because I think he's
plus 3 right now. So
he's probably one of the most meta permanent units. Like as Claude's, he's not the highest damage dealer, but he still provides good damage, and he's damn near unkillable.
Yeah, and he's now good in summoner duels too with Speed Smoke 4.
Oh my god, I've been trying to say that for like 20 seconds now. Alright, sure. Yes, he's really stupid in summoner duels. Thank you.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Speed Smoke 4, he gets pretty stupid because Fallen Star doesn't have the enemy phase.
Right, because Fallen Star in Summoner Duels is actually pretty bad, but Speed Smoke 4, that helps out a lot.
Yeah. But
I honestly think Brave Claude is gonna once he gets his refined, see his resurgence with Speed Smoke 4.
Yeah.
I've already seen it on a friends list guy. And Speed Smoke 4 and Brave Claude is actually really cool.
But yeah, so Claude's amazing, top tier, still amazing plus 10 unit, meta permanent. Joshua's really good, at the very least, no follow-up. Life and Death 4 is a terrible fodder, and GPU's beat. Excited for it. Bramimond, as far as mythics go, aged pretty well.
Doesn't fit in any of my teams anymore, though.
Yeah.
He's a little hard to find space for. His combat is still, respectable. Not amazing, but respectable.
Cancels all support, great attack.
He's still a noob killer. I'll say that.
He's a noob stomper. Yeah. He's surprisingly resilient. You can't use regular old support on him. It just won't work. And as far as mythics go for combat, you can't get much better than Bramimond for early mythics, so not bad. Mm-hmm. And he's an attack first.
Alright. And then afterwards, greens, because
green Dagr, for sure.
Dagr,
it depends on the team. I think Gale Force teams still really like her, but
they're both
she's
trash,
still
definitely Kanto.
Just even in I didn't use a Gale Force team, and I still found that her Pathfinder utility and her general usage as a unit were pretty good.
She is surprisingly good as a unit because Skinfoxy's Unity effect is actually really nice.
And she has no follow-up stats in her beast level,
yeah. She's pretty great, honestly, as a unit. And Pathfinder, obviously, we got Ash, which better in most cases, but it has a niche in user raids. Most certainly has a niche in summoner duels in lieu of Dual Dagr. Or we need to use multiple Pathfinders.
Alright, and then everyone knows Byleth is still really good father, attack, defense, ideal. And then there's Legendary Edelgard, which this is where it gets iffy with people. I still think she's a really fun unit to use.
She's fun for sure, yeah.
She's underrated. Legendary Edelgard obviously scores pretty decently because she has Raging Storm on her beast slot.
I wish she has less. Her BST always irked me so much.
Yeah, it's awkward.
It's really unfortunate, but
she still holds up.
And she's actually going to get her refined a lot sooner than some of the other legendaries because she was. Well, yeah, but wasn't she like?
She was like early 2020. So
something like
wait,
that.
This is Legendary Eliwood's final run on the Legendary banners?
Yes, before he gets sent into the Shadow Realm of 6% banners, i.e.
Yeah, most likely, yeah.
Because Eliwood gets remixed relatively soon.
Oh, okay, so sure.
Yeah.
All right. But
yeah, Legendary Edel's is fine. Legendary Male Byleth, one of the best mages, and Dagger's good.
Okay, and then to conclude, Red's last because Legendary Eliwood still good buffer. Ike's great whatever great grandson is great fodder, and Neimi is in the game.
Neimi is an okay unit, but she's whatever. Like you can do better.
She's a solid unit for fodder.
Her fodder is there. You can get a tier 4 skill.
Don't use this banner to go for Eliwood. Just wait until he's remixed.
Yeah, don't. Oh, God.
Alright, let's do the poll.
Personally, I have to.
What?
I have to pull this.
You have to? Why?
My Legendary Male Pilot is +7.
The unintentional merge is
Just wait for him to share with Hell again.
Josh!
Oh, God.
Don't you want a +10 Hell?
It's not even that useful.
By the time I got my first Dagr, like it was like shortly before
I
Ashley.
hate
But she
that.
loves you.
Okay, in fairness to Hell, I actually do like the fun idea of running her with Lilith in Summoner Duels, and having a no follow-up Hell that is immortal and always being supported by Lilith for offensive edge. Plus Catria for extra toxicity.
Oh, you
It's
should,
funny
you should
in
just
idea
do it for.
and concept.
You should just do it for a heart. Give her a heart that you find her attractive.
A heart that we shot out with Edelgard.
Finding Hell attractive is, I don't know. If she gets a summer alt, maybe people will think she's hot.
Jelly's all the craze. What?
I mean, come on. Most of the biggest boobs you guys have ever seen in your life have silicone in them anyways, right? And that's a kind of jelly.
Yeah, but Hell's got like real jelly. She doesn't even have silicone jelly, so she's like natural jelly.
Natural silicone.
Yeah.
It's an odd thought.
Alright, but will you pull on the Legendary Hero Myrrh banner? So here's the thing with me. I don't really care about Myrrh. I like Myrrh, but I'm never gonna run her in anything serious. She's probably gonna be an AA unit at best for me. But I do need to start working on a Legendary Hero to +10, and that should probably be Claude for me.
I'll make it a pirate off. We've had the final bosses of books 1 and 2 so far, so she would be next.
You think Hell's gonna be a pirate?
Pirate Hell, oh my God.
That makes total sense.
Sure.
That's, you're saying?
Oh, I was gonna say Sheeta's also a really. If I was gonna +10 a hero, I really do value Caeda, and mostly not because I want to use her in like summer duels or something, but mostly because I think she scores so well. And if I go make Claude, I'm not making Nana anymore, right? So makes more sense.
Yeah. If you're building Claude, then you're not gonna likely build Nana, no matter how good Nana is. Sheeta obviously doesn't provide the most as a unit, but she does provide a decent amount, while also providing an immense amount of scoring.
I think people will really talk down on her until they realize I fight a really good Sheeta with proper support, then they realize, oh wait, I just lost.
Well, that's the thing. Evan is one of those people who thinks that Sheeta is like absolutely god awful and irredeemable.
And
I think she's
well,
fine.
she has, ironically, I think she has a better player phase than enemy phase, but
I think so too. For the most part. Skelly Jelly Pirate.
I've never been afraid of Sheeta. That's what I mean, man.
I see a lot of people bragging about how they like killed Caeda and say like shit unit, and it's like an unmerged Caeda with no flowers.
Yeah,
so.
here's the thing. A lot of people. I've seen people judge units because they fought them in Training Tower. Are you nuts? Don't do that to yourselves. Basically, looking at unmerged with a person who doesn't have any idea what they're doing with that unit and seeing, hey, that's what this character is capable of, and therefore this unit sucks. Don't do that yourselves. You're smarter than that. Most heroes in this entire game do take some, at least, thought to reach their potential. Yeah. So, come on.
Sadly, people don't always use that thought to its fullest potential.
Yeah. I mean, she's no Valentian Paula. Let me make that clear. There are obviously more threatening units of a similar class, but she's not bad. She's not. I can't say I've been pressured by them much, but I have been okay. I can say that actually. I've been super pressured by her on some weeks where I just can't catch up, and she just comes in, breaks a savior, runs.
All right. So you're saying there's strategy? Yes. Some level of it. All right. Anyways, really quickly. Here are options. So I'm saving my orders for another banner. Yes, I'm going to pull for Colorless, Bramimond, Legendary Claude, Ascended Joshua. Yes, I'm going for Red, Legendary Eliwood, Priam, and Neimi. Yes, I'm going for Blue, Legendary Myrrh, Legendary Female Byleth, Legendary Caeda. Yes, I'm going for Green, Legendary Edelgard, Dagr, and Legendary Male Byleth. Oh, whoa, another Dragon back. Friends, you've never said oh, whoa before, and that better not be a thing going forward. And then he says, no, but I'm going to polling for Summer Servants and FGO. All right, have fun with that. Let's see the results. 45%, 5%, 45.5% say they're saving for another banner. Hey, that's not bad actually. It's about 50% not pulling, but 50% pulling. That's actually, nowadays, it's actually pretty good.
Pretty decent statistic, especially considering only a couple of these colors are actually that amazing, that good. Like, that's not bad.
I actually don't think it's bad. I think nowadays you should probably be sparking on every legendary banner if you're a Fey Pass user, because not literally every banner, but like every banner that you have that hero that you're looking for.
Right.
I think for most people who've been playing this game for years, legendary projects is the more important thing now, because your arena team is basically all Grail projects. Even if you're like completely ridiculous and you never ever try to like +5 or +10 of 5-star unit, you can make a really solid team nowadays just from all Grail units. So if all you care about in this game is like resource allocation or resource gain, then you should be going for like scoring units and mythics.